Well, we could be, and probably should be talking about the Lakers having tied this series 2-2, winning Game 4 in Minnesota, coming back to LA and kind of being back in control of this series, but unfortunately, we're not. We're talking about them now being down 3-1, on the verge of being eliminated from the postseason, and with plenty of controversy to come with it. Between the coaching decision, or rather decisions of JJ Redick, primarily during the second half of Game 4, some controversial calls that did not go the Lakers' way, a whole lot of controversy and fan backlash to come with it. So we'll talk about that and try to break it all down here. But before we get too far into it, don't forget to check out G2A.com. They got your best new games, PC software, gaming discounts, and much more. So be sure to check them out in the video description down below. But now getting back to our topic, and like I said, plenty of controversy from Game 4 and really about this series in general. The coaching decision and kind of rookie mistakes of JJ Redick, which ultimately kind of or maybe did come back to haunt them in Game 4. And for the obvious one, definitely talking about the 5 guys that played the entire second half for their team in Game 4, including LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and Dorian Finney-Smith. And yes, they played the entire second half, all 24 minutes, including all 12 of the fourth quarter, of Game 4 for their team, and that ultimately did not really work out for them. Definitely in the third quarter it did. Entering the third quarter, they immediately went on a 14-0 run, not playing either Jackson Hayes or anyone off the bench, and that definitely helped them early on. But slowly but surely, they did get tired. It became pretty obvious. Luka definitely being affected by it. I mean, you could tell both offensively and defensively, the guy was tired out there. Offensively, only went 1 for 6 from the field during the fourth quarter, only having 7 points and definitely looking tired. And then defensively, they targeted him a little bit, that affected him, he could not really keep up, and he did give up some shots in the fourth quarter. Or then for LeBron and Austin, both of them were affected, and you can point to it too. No, maybe not defensively for LeBron. He played absolutely great defense in this one, and maybe their best defender in this game, definitely during the fourth quarter, ending with 3 steals and 3 blocks in this game, including an absolutely incredible block in the fourth quarter, which would have likely been more fondly remembered had they won this game. But even apart from that, offensively did not score during the fourth quarter, only attempted 2 shots, and he definitely was affected in that regard. And then for Austin, definitely affected by it on both ends of the court. Offensively, entering the fourth quarter being 3 for 5 from 3, but then during the fourth quarter, going 2 for 7 and including missing their potential game-tying shot, so obviously affected in that regard. Defensively, having dead legs and trying to guard Ant does not really work out for him. Switch on defense, and then with them trying to target him on defense, obviously was affected by it too. Or even for guys like Hachimura and Finney-Smith, can't point to it as much offensively, both making the only 3-point shot they took, but defensively, if you watch the game, they were obviously tired and were affected by it during the late fourth quarter. And from an entire team standpoint and the numbers here, being a negative 13 during the fourth quarter compared to a positive 13 during the third quarter, so they pretty much lost everything they gained. So again, looking back on it, and obviously yes, hindsight is 2020, but I think Redick should have gone away from it a little bit, not played them for 24 straight minutes, give LeBron, Luka, Austin, at least somebody a little bit of a break, to give somebody else to try and come in and give them energy, maybe Gabe Vincent or Jared Vanderbilt, and should have not went that route for the entire second half. Really can't say it helped them, and I really can't say I agree with it. I mean, looking back on it, I liked it during the third quarter, it was working for them, but sooner or later you gotta know that'll catch up with them, and it did catch up with them during the fourth quarter. Even if it was for a 1 to 2 minute time frame, even less than that 30 seconds, try to give each of them or a majority of them a little bit of a break on the court. I mean, for a 40-year-old like LeBron, you gotta think that he'll run out of energy eventually. Or for Luka Doncic, not known for being in the best shape of any NBA player, give him a little break on the court. But even apart from that, and looking back on what Redick did or did not do, there were other things that affected them too. One of which being Luka Doncic being tripped, or I guess not tripped depending on your viewpoint, but technically by rule it really shouldn't have mattered. It should have been a foul call. If an offensive player is tripped or falls from the defender kind of leaning against them, it's gonna be a foul call 99% of the time. And well, here's what JJ Redick and Luka Doncic had to say about it, and if they plead that Luka was tripped.
What was your vantage point on the inbound that was a turnover?
Well, let's just start with Luka got tripped. I mean, that was a blatant trip. He doesn't just fall on his own. We watched it. You know, he gets tripped. So we should have been at the free throw line. You know, that's not an excuse for why we lost, but we got fouled, and you know, we had a chance to go up.
JJ said he thought you were tripped in the final minute. What was your, kind of take on that sequence?
What do you think? I got tripped or no?
I honestly didn't have a great vantage point from where I was sitting. So.
Oh, I think I got tripped for sure. So, we had to call timeout.
Well, according to those two, there is not much of a debate here. Luka Doncic was in fact tripped, Jaden McDaniels should have been called for a foul but was not called for a foul, and the Lakers should have not been forced to spend a timeout, which eventually became their final timeout. And technically by rule they are correct, even with Luka Doncic maybe tripping on his own here. Not really much of a blatant foul by McDaniels, but any contact leading to a trip is an automatic defensive foul on the defender. And go figure, it's already been confirmed that they made the wrong call here, with the NBA putting out a report saying that McDaniels did foul Luka, with the official comment saying that McDaniels steps forward into Luka's foot, initiating a legal foot contact that caused Luka to fall and lose his balance. And like I said, that led to a second controversial call and an ultimate loss of timeouts for the Lakers. Shortly thereafter, LeBron not being called for a foul, but then it being reversed, being called a foul on LeBron from a camera angle that I've literally never seen before. A top end view that showed LeBron hitting part of the ball, but also part of Ant's hand and wrist, which LeBron later argues is part of the ball, hand being part of the ball, and it's normally called that way, so he might have a point about it.
Absolutely. I mean, that play happens all the time. Hand is part of the ball. That's what they say. And, I feel like the hand was a part of that ball. I was able to get his hand on top of the ball stripped down and out on him. So I've seen that play over and over before, but it is what it is.
I mean, you really can't blame him for that. If you played officiated basketball before and by legitimate referees, I imagine you've been told exactly what LeBron said there, aka hands part of the ball. LeBron's probably been told that countless times, and for whatever reason, now all of a sudden it did not become true. Yes, LeBron did hit Ant's wrist and hand, but also hit the ball there as well. And on that kind of play, 9 times out of 10 or 99.9% of the time, the refs usually let that go and that's the play on, especially during the late fourth quarter. And I really hate complaining about refs or individual foul calls like that, but with how many people say that the Lakers get a favorable whistle and that they get helped by the refs all the time, you really can't point to that and say that in this playoff series or especially during the fourth quarter of this game. I mean, the Wolves have had significantly more advantage in my opinion, maybe not from an individual foul call standpoint, but with the way and how physical they play, not being called for as many fouls and not as many ticky-tack fouls compared to the Lakers, and it was pretty obvious in this game. Them directly winning the foul battle in this game, winning it during the fourth quarter, and ultimately that helping them greatly in my opinion. So yes, you definitely can point to JJ Redick here and say he made mistakes and should have not played 5 guys the entire second half. That I think he probably regrets even if he won't say it, and he really shouldn't say it. You don't want to play the hindsight game again. But even apart from that, definitely a lot of stuff that did not go their way. Whether you're talking about foul calls and absolutely insane calls that did not favor them and were kind of out of nowhere in my opinion, even all the way down to the camera angle and us never seeing that angle before, ultimately going against the Lakers and that coming out of nowhere. A whole lot to factor in here that's not entirely on JJ Redick. I know it might be hard to admit that and not put the entire blame on him after being upset and him making mistakes during the fourth quarter and ultimately in the second half of this game, leading to them going down 3-1. But it was not entirely on him. Between that, the foul calls, some inconsistent performance throughout the game, a whole lot to factor into it that was not completely on JJ Redick. But overall here, what do you guys think about it? How did you feel about Redick going with 5 guys during the entire second half of their team, playing all 24 minutes and not leaning on their bench at all? The Lakers going down 3-1, the foul calls that came with it, or the non-calls, and everything from Game 4 that ultimately led to where they are now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one, and if you enjoyed the video, then I'll greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.